Alright, so the Khaiza has just finished his ultimate fucking weekend of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of two very highly sought after fighting games that have launched betas this weekend and will be coming out real soon in 2022. And that's Dungeon Fighter Duel and KOF 15. We have just finished like some rounds of KOF. I didn't want to go on that long. Better to save myself from the misery. Because KOF online, I'll talk about that later, is still the same. Just, whew, oh my god. Anyway, but let's talk about DNF Duel, right? So, DNF Duel or Dungeon Fighter Online, right? Based on the popular, or, well, is it popular nowadays? Like, Dungeon Fighter Online, like, MMO beat-em-up game, or online game that you could take, like, you can literally take, like, classes and then you beat up some dudes, literally like a beat-em-up with an MMO sense, right? So, Dungeon Fighter Duel launched a beta, and we are going to be reviewing some of my thoughts, some of my like impressions of DNF, right? Surface level wise, right? It is a visualistically pleasing as fuck, you know, video game. A visualistically as pleasing anime fighter. You see all like the different like elements going on here and there. You see like visual effects like just striking up front, like in your face. It is a very Arc System Works like style game, and I really do appreciate that. Every like character and even like the gameplay of DNF is super fucking fantastic, super fanatical, like hyper visual anime style, right? And I feel like, you know, I'll say it again, that like Arc System Works has very much honed that craft of just like how like gorgeous it is, you know? Gameplay is like but that's like artistic style, like we're not gonna like talk about like the UIs and stuff like that, you know, because UI, I don't think no one ever really bashes on like the UI as much, you know, because UI is UI. It's interesting, it's looking. So basically, let's move into gameplay, right? So the game is like revolved around simple motions. This is a 6-button fighter, and I can't stress this more than enough, right? It is a simple like button fighter, and what that means is that it's sort of like the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus approach for this fighting game. You have simple buttons that are tied to like down, left, right notations, and the buttons in DNF Duel are your, if I show it off on like a controller right here, there's squares your light attacks or A's, triangles are your B's, circles are your basic skills, and X's are like your MP skills, and MPs are like tied to your secondary bar under your health. There are also other skills like conversion skill, which I'll get to a little bit later, and there is the ultimate skill. And the ultimate skill is like your level 3 of the game. And what that essentially is like it's a one button level 3 super that you have access at when you're at like 30 or less percent health. It's literally a one button level 3 super, and you don't have to do any motions of any kind. It's literally just one button. I shit you not. It is it is the most big accessible as fuck thing you could ever find in a fighting game. A one button level 3 super. And it's only accessible, but the good thing about the ultimate skill is that ultimate skills are only used once. So if you ever use like your if you ever use that ultimate skill on whiff or on block, you can't use it for the entire round. you have to wait for the next round when you get 30% low health to use it again. And now let's talk about the skills and MP skills, right? Skills are like your basic are like your character specific strings that they can do. So like, let's say right here, what I'm showing off right here, I'm playing Hitman, greatest character by the way. Bias. Hitman's skills are like he can like chain certain moves together so that they can like continue his block strings. And what that allows is that he can do some oppressive as fuck offense shit that he can do and just go ham, right? So everyone's skills are entirely very much different. They're all like the same input, but each character is different in their own way. I talked about Hitman, so let's say like grapplers, right? Or like the dude with the karate gi. His traits is that since he's a grappler, he has skills that like he can charge certain moves like a fucking high kick and then do like air command grab, something like that, right? And MP skills are like what you use like a percentage of your meter for, and that allows you access to do special kinds of skills. And of course, this is an anime fighter, so each character has a specific like skill, a specific MP skill that they have access to. Like strikers can do chain her Rekkas. She is literally like a Rekka character, so she can like cancel special moves on top of special moves, and on top of that she has a character specific skill called reverse speed, so she can cancel any like heavy attack into a light attack to allow more mix-up options and make herself more safe and plus instead of being unsafe, right? And that's very interesting, right? Every character has different skills and different like MP skills. And MP skills take away almost like either 40%, 33%, or even 50% of your meter. But do not worry about that because meter gain builds up slowly during the course of a match, so you don't have to worry nary a dick about any of that shit, you know? So what I like about DNF Duel is that how insane it is, like, for it being so accessible as fuck, right? Like I said, DNF Duel is basically the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus of today, just that DNF Duel does it way more better, I feel, than Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, because not to be like rude to any DNF players, right? But I feel like the game kind of lost its charm when I first played it long ago, when the game was in its like beta periods. Like, and as the game grew coarse over like multiple DLC characters, I just kind of like fell off. I didn't find any of their combo structure really like stunning or like any of their moves kind of flashy. And you know, and what I call DNF Duel, what I call like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, it's very much the anime Street Fighter of anime fighters. There's very much not as high octane as fuck moves, or not even as like super flashy moves, but they're just there to like deal like 50% damage and do like footsies or okies. That's literally what Grand Blue Fantasy Versus was. And you know, I don't mind that, right? I play Street Fighter. I'm a Street Fighter homie, right? But damn, did it feel like kind of boring to watch. It kind of felt not nauseating. Nauseating would be like a bad extent. Kind of tedious to watch. Or more mundane. Yeah, more mundane to watch. Like, it's so like dry. It doesn't have any like bursting flavor like a Starburst, whereas DNF is the literal opposite of that. You have characters literally doing like some crazy as fuck looking shit, albeit like low damage, right? but it's just so goddamn cool looking that you can like do all this stuff, you know? Shame that seems that way. You'd think a traditional fantasy theme would make it look cool, but it doesn't, but it don't at all. Yeah, it's Granblue Fantasy Versus was really much trying to like derail from the Street Fighter isms of just footsie-based fighters. And again, not that there's anything wrong with like footsie-based fighters, it's just that it doesn't have that like what is it? It doesn't have that blow or shatter your expectations style of appeal that you get in other games like DNF, right? Because DNF is like super wild, characters are super like organic, they're crazy, they're super goddamn like badass looking, right? They can literally do like flashy shit at like, damn, low percentage. Dost thou speaketh umbral shade unto my fandom? What? Don't tell me you play, I'm saying, like, I'm praising DNF. I'm just saying, like, in comparison to Granblue Fantasy Versus, have it, you black card. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm just saying, like, comparing between, Granblue Fantasy Versus and DNF Duel, I'd rather prefer DNF Duel than Granblue Fantasy Versus any day because of how just aesthetically pleasing it looks, and it's just so goddamn insane. Never played it, but I love shitty old English. The Shakespeare English. That's pretty good. But yeah, those are the control schemes. Those are their. What did we also haven't covered? Oh, conversion skill. So the game has another mechanic which is called conversion skill. So basically, you know how in fighting games you have red health and white health, right? Red health is like the damage that you have lost, while white health is like all of the chip damage you received. Or like some red health that's like a part of your white health, right? Conversion skill is basically a Baroque combo. For any of those that don't know, or barbecue, right? For any of those that don't know, Baroque is a combo system that was introduced in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, and literally it's called Baroque, but a lot of FGC members call it barbecue because, you know, we love our mispronunciations. And a barbecue combo is where you sacrifice all of your red health or current red health to do like crazy combo extensions. And in here, it's literally the same thing, except that it's only like your white bar of health. And to be honest, it feels like an underutilized skill. It feels so like it doesn't feel that much of an impact. Like, you don't use it a lot in DNF Duel, because your white health is like so little. So what kind of cancels can you make with conversion skills? Not really a lot, apparently. Because look at like your white health. As soon as you realize you have like white health in your conversion skill, you don't use it at all. And I used it like sometimes by accident. Oh, there's a capture device failure. Okay, go back to here. There you go. I don't know about Gogi Nightbot. I don't know about what the Gogi system is. Gogi is kind of like abhorrent thing in Fighting EX Slayer. But yeah, the barbecue combos in this game is that it's not really used a lot. You have to be like that. You have to be that like super awareness, right? Of like how you look at like all of your resources, because literally conversion skill is kind of like a resource, and in a game where you don't have any like secondary bars, right? Like Guilty Gear Strive, you don't have any like meter management systems or stuff like that, because meter kind of fills up technically quick so that you can do your next move. It doesn't feel get a lot of like conversion skills in DNF Duel because it's so underutilized. I don't remember using it at all, apparently, and it kind of sucks because it is a cool mechanic, because what you can do with conversion skill is that you can like make most of your like unsafe moves kind of safe, kind of like striker, but a universal mechanic. It's just that you have to watch out for like your white health, because literally like white health can depend on like how much you have. You can have as this much white health and have this much white health, and you don't notice it. You don't notice it in your health bar because you have like teching. If you don't tech, then maybe you can have like the white bar, but I've seen a lot of players where you can like tech and it's like because they want to like to have that quick get up. They don't want to be in that hard knockdown situation and face Oki. They don't want to embrace that. I think like I covered like gameplay mechanics and shit like that, you know. Universal fighting game mechanics are there, like tick throws and like anti-jump lows, stuff like that. Everything that comes with universal fighting game mechanics does apply in DNF. A lot of options, a lot of like mixes that you can do, on top of like DNF specific and DNF character specific isms. Now, let's talk about the real thing since the message showed up, right? The online, right? Okay, so the DNF online experience was really much like a trial and a half, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like, I mean, on the first day, right? This is more like a three day period for DNF Duel. On the first day of DNF Duel, a lot of us couldn't really enter a lobby. We just had to like sit there. Wait for like the servers to actually let us in and just you know, play some matches. And the time that we did get into matches, the server would just like boot us the fuck out. And what did we do in the meanwhile? We just played CPU battles. And I necessarily don't like playing against CPU battles. I rather much prefer they do like the KOF 15 route of adding a training mode, where training mode can let you actually do all those insane possibilities of doing your anime as fuck character combos. And you don't have that in DNF Duel. You just more like go in, play the game, and have fun. Mash some buttons. Here you go. That's the main point, I guess. But you know, I rather much prefer to like be in the lab and like actually, how the fuck does this character work before heading into online. I'm like the reverse. I don't like the reverse. I don't like necessarily jump into online and just go nuts. I had to with DNF because that's like the only way to play. But damn, still. And so the first day of online mode was kind of a irksome thing because a lot of players were trying to like get in and the server was really congested. Like so many players on PS4 and PS5 were jumping into DNF that it made the servers kind of crash and have to go under maintenance for some time. And in the second day, on Saturday, the lobbies were actually working, right? We could actually get into matches, we could set up like lobbies, we can actually join up lobbies and like sit down at these like arcades and actually fight some dudes, right? But the lobbies only work for so much, right? Because in the second day, when you're like fighting against someone, the game would like automatically, after some time, your room session has been disconnected. Your room has been disbanded. You need to like, get the fuck out and leave now. That is such a shitty thing that I had to feel for DNF Duel, and I felt so pissed off, right? There's another reason why I was pissed off on the second day of DNF, right? Jesus. But yeah, like, it would just eject us immediately, and we would have to go through the whole process. Like, fucking come on, I want to finish the set. I want to learn this matchup, but I can't. I can't because the server's being kind of whack. And what happens on the third day is like kind of resolving the issues that a lot of FGC players have been facing for the past while, and that is the lobbies have been fixed. There's no disconnects. I haven't found any disconnects from the lobbies that I've entered in and played matches with. Nothing. It didn't like eject me the fuck out. So it was like, like I say this, it's kind of like a journey process of just playing the game. Right? First day is kind of a clusterfuck. Second day, the lobbies are semi-okay. And then by the third day, everything was like smooth. Everything was like smooth for like lobbies and like connections. Now, speaking of connections, right? Speaking of connections, DNF Duel has rollback netcode. They announced this on the day of their open beta test, and goddamn, does it feel really smooth. Like, it feels like almost near impossible, like Strive rollback netcode. I don't think I've ever like faced a bad netcode connection. I don't think I faced a bad netcode connection in the second day or in the first day. Well, probably in the first day, right? Probably in the first day, because maybe like characters were teleporting, some inputs were not really like there, right? But damn, when rollback netcode kicks in for DNF Duel, it really shines. Like, oh my god, it feels so goddamn holy. It's like I said, it's almost near to Strive rollback, and Strive rollback is really good because it makes a bad connection really much a good connection. You could fight motherfuckers in like Africa or Dubai or some shit, and you could like play really well. And that is so goddamn awesome for DNF Duel. I really played DNF. By the time the third day came out for DNF Duel, I was having a blast. I was having a blast with DNF. Everything just felt like smooth. Everything just felt like awesome. Like, oh my god, I cannot believe like the levels of fresh and like good online I felt for this game. It is crazy. I only faced like a few people that had like bad rollback, and they measured their rollback by like how much ping they have and how much rollback frames they have. So literally the same thing as KOF 15 and Guilty Gear Strive. Since now that like rollback netcode is like the de facto netcode for fighting games, because we're no longer in the age of delay-based netcode, chat room. We should stop that. We can't. We're not going back to the good old days of Ultimate Marvel 3 netcode or Dragon Ball FighterZ netcode or even Super Smash Bros. Ultimate netcode. Which then again, people have found ways to play Marvel 3, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Smash to this day. But damn, it's a fucking nightmare. I remember playing MVC3 on my old PS3, and that shit was a nightmare. I can't do anything in that game. Literally, I always say this, delay-based netcode or frame delay netcode is like literally walking on like cement, or like walking underwater, to be more nice about it, right? You just feel like, oh hey, you're walking, right? You're you know, I'm jogging, I'm like doing all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you step on some like cement, and now I can't move my leg. Now I like dipped in some puddle. Now I dropped my ass into a pool, and now like I can't move unless you're like a swimmer. And thank God that like fighting game devs are realizing that, you know, because of COVID, albeit a lot of bad shit has happened because of COVID, right? But I thank COVID for the sense that like it's smartening up fighting game developers to do enhancements to their fighting games online wise. We do not have to sit there and sit for like hours for like a match, or like be stuck on a screen and trying to like input a move when we could be doing something much more better with rollback netcode. And we have seen with games prior to Guilty Gear Strive, DNF, and possibly KOF, is that rollback netcode is the answer to fighting games. We've seen this in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat X, Skullgirls, Dem's Fighting Herds, even though I never played Dem's Fighting Herds, but I assume their rollback is pretty spot on. You know? And DNF Duel is no exception. I don't feel any bad issues of online. Now, the other thing about the online is that the player base. I will say this as like a deterring factoid, as like a critical component to this review is like, it is an anime fighter, right? So you're technically going to see more than favorable characters that players are going to be playing because their toolkit is just overly busted amazing, right? As we were calling, like, Ranger is going to be super good. We notice now that, like, Striker is super good because, like I said before, Striker can literally, like, chain combos here and there. She can literally chain, like, her specials into more specials. She is a Rekka character with a lot of potential. And on top of that, she has reverse speed, right? Reverse speed is a fighting game mechanic where you can unchain your combos. So if you're going from like light, medium, heavy, then you can do like light, medium, heavy, and then go back to light and leave yourself on plus. It is super unbelievable that she can have that and make herself safe at any given situation and just constant pressure. Like Striker is really good, Shinobi is really good because she has, as like what one person says in the chat whenever I play DNF Duel, she has a lot of options. She has an invincible DP, she can teleport, she has kunais. She's literally the all-rounder, but a very fast, speedy ninja, and just like can get away with so much stuff. She has the log. Yeah, definitely. She has the log. She has the teleportation. She has mixes. She has so much shit that makes her really good. And from the second day and even to like the third day as well, a lot of players have been playing Shinobi because her toolkit is really amazing. And I could understand why. It gets frustrating a lot of the time that because like when you face like a really good like Striker or Shinobi player that just like block strings the fuck out of you and you're trying to like understand the controls, it can feel very frustrating. It is like what those characters or well, like what any character can represent, or in a general sense, right? What anime fighters represent, they are like the bully fighting games of the fighting game genre, right? Because you just have to like hold back, pray to God that you are not going to get mixed up and just don't get hit. If you do get hit, if you show any fear or weakness, the other player will capitalize on that and you have no choice but to hold this L. I literally feel that whenever I play Shinobi or Striker, and thinking that like, oh, this is a good punish, but no, this is not the case. I literally feel like, you know, they're just constantly plus at like all times, and I can't do a damn thing about it. Covering a lot of their options with reverse speed or with teleports like logs. It is unbelievable that how much hatred I have for those characters. Also Crusader too. Crusader, the big holy Jesus man with the Jesus hammer, literally just fucking bonks you to death. Has quick startup moves, has a far-reaching auto combo light attacks, has a busted as infinite or a loop that you get like big red shield and then you could just go like bonk and then the lightning comes out, you know, like, oh god, Jesus Christ, man. Literally just have so much hatred for one character and for a few characters, and it'll make you feel like, man, fuck this game. This shit's annoying to deal with. But I did my best. You know, I learned with the abilities that I have, to the best of my abilities, and just like rocked house. I was like switching between two characters, Hitman and Ranger. And albeit, you know, that also can be very annoying as fuck to deal with on the counter argument side, right? For players that have been dealing with like Hitman or Ranger shit, like just long range or like mid-screen pokes and whatnot, my characters are totally cheap. You know? That's valid as well. Every character is cheap. Every character is cheap. That's the ultimate truth about anime fighters. You look at like fucking BlazBlue, right? And or Guilty Gear Strive. There are characters that literally just like abuse the game and they're just like cheap as all hell. Literal fucking examples of anime annoying like bully-is and could like get away with shit for free. I'll give you one example. Mei from Guilty Gear. Totsugeki, Totsugeki, Totsugeki. You hear that 90 million fucking times and it just makes me want to like rip this chick's head off. And I know my friends are gonna play that because they are literally Noelle or Mai from BB. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's fair too. Mai or Noelle. Noelle being like the gunslinger and Mai with like the mid-range and like zoning tools. They are literally annoying. And that's what anime fighters are. They have characters that literally just like, they have cheap mechanics and they're gonna abuse those cheap mechanics because that's their character trait. That's what makes them so special. Noelle did nothing wrong. My man, you gotta admit she did nothing wrong, but you gotta be empathetic. Except she ain't packing like 9. Yeah, that's like surface level though, but they're obviously gonna feel that like you can like tune that shit off. You can literally tune that shit off. That's your own perspective. That's your own like subjectivity. You can tune that shit off and say like, my character's not that bad. It's fine. She's like low tier, alright? Hitman's like low tier, alright? Nothing is wrong with Hitman, alright? But in actuality, you can sense the other vibes from other players that like, man, Hitman is fucking disgusting. What a bitch-ass character. You know? It's there. It's the black and white. It's not black and white. There's that beautiful fucking gray matter. But that's anime fighters, right? I've been dealing with that shit since like Dragon Ball FighterZ, since with like Guilty Gear, so I definitely know where that's coming from. Unawareness is truly bliss. Yeah, and ignorance truly is bliss. That's true. Ignorance is truly is bliss. But yeah, I've been dealing with like anime fighters since like I've been playing a lot of anime fighters, you know, since then. Because a lot of my friends have been like digging themselves into anime fighters. So I've seen a thing or two about that, and I know a thing or two about like the anime fighter lens scope. It is there, right? There's no denying that. But overall, like DNF is really like a fun game. Not gonna lie. Just doing combos, just doing like hits feels really smooth. It will take a few more times to like figure out. A few more betas to figure out. I wish there was more betas for DNF Duel, maybe for like future characters, right? Because now that the beta is over, I really do want to play more of this game. But man, was DNF Duel kind of like a fun ride from like once the servers patch themselves out, it feels really nice, and I gotta give credit to where credit is due. DNF is a fantastic anime fighter entry. Now I'm like thinking, you know, the potential this could bring. Like, I really want to see this to be on like Evo or some shit, right? You know, like Evo 2022 is gonna come upon us one day, and probably they're trying to do like open venues or like physical venues, but you know, I want to see like DNF Duel be as like a main stage game next to like Guilty Gear and KOF 15. Well, KOF 15, we're gonna talk about that later, right? Yeah, but I really do want to play this game again. I want to try out other characters. Like, so far, my mains are like Hitman. My secondary is like Ranger because of like abusable shit. I really do want to try out Grappler and who's that one? Oh yeah, that one guy who was in the official trailer for DNF. There was like a ghost swordsman type of dude. I really want to try him. Hopefully, when like another beta comes out for DNF, because the release window for DNF is summer 2022. So we got a long road ahead, and possibly could be more betas for console, obviously. Which, talking about it, is like another flaw I feel like this game could have had the chance to shine, is that fighting game devs only release like their betas on consoles and not on PCs, which I kind of get for a very few reasons. Like, now hear me out, right? I feel like fighting game devs do these fighting game betas on consoles because one of them is that PS4s or PS5s are like universal. What I mean by that is that they have this like the same hardware, either PS4 or PS5, and fighting game devs could just like take the data from those devices and make statistical conclusions off of that. So I can see why they chose like consoles. Not the most preferred method, because like DNF is going to be on PC. Yeah, that's going to be on like retail price or on retail on the day it launches. But this is just general for like fighting game betas, that they usually just put their trial runs on PC because, you know, that is what it is. I don't know if there was like a fighting game beta that came on PC. Not that I like know of, right? Because Guilty Gear came on, because the Guilty Gear betas came on console and they were like closed and open betas. So you didn't have you didn't have like PC betas for that shit. Number two, for why they choose consoles over PC, is that possibly this could be like a very, a very abstract and obscure, almost like kind of like a weird reason, is that PC builds are different, right? Everyone has like a different build for their desktop PC, their personal computer. Some have like a different processor, some have different GTX cards, shit like that. So I know it's weird, it's dumb, it's stupid, right? Because that shouldn't make any sense, but I don't know. I'm just like thinking from a fighting game like dev, or like the possible reasons why they might not do that, is maybe that's the reason, maybe that's one of those reasons. PC builds for everyone is literally different depending on what they have, what processor, what graphics card, what do they have, a laptop or a desktop, so much stuff. There's so many different builds, and it's not like a PS4 or PS5 where they're like, these are the parts that make up a PS5. They're statistically there. They are built that way, so we can gather more information from there, because we know how a PS4 or PS5 is like. But as for a PC, PCs are, all the puns intended, are built different, are literally built different. And thirdly is that data mines. Data mines, we've seen like they're kind of like leaks. They're kind of like leaks for DNF. Not DNF, I'm sorry. For fighting games, is that once you launch like a fighting game on a PC, PC users will definitely like find something about in the game, either in the properties or the files or folders of the game, and just find like data mine leaks of like who could be in the game, right? Because I remember there was a data mine leak for Guilty Gear Strive, and it had some of the character files like Jacko or Bikin as like just all capital case like lettering, you know? And lo and behold, they became true. Jacko is in, Asuka's not in it, so that's like false, but Jacko is in it, Bikin is gonna be in it, right? So literally just like, if you data mine the shit out of a PC port of a fighting game, you're gonna get data mined and you're gonna get leaked. We seen that shit in fucking Nickelodeon All-Stars. Some guy data mined the game and there's literally a Garfield DLC incoming, and lo and behold, it actually happened. Why that's a bad thing? Because it takes away the surprise. It takes away the feeling of like, oh shit, this character is gonna be in it. I definitely don't like, you know, leaks like that, because we are just like hungry and eager for new content and information about our fighting games, and we want to feel like we spread that information. We got the gold mine. I don't like that. Don't like leak shit that ultimately comes true. And in this day and age, leaks or data mines are like the actual thing for fighting games. Don't like leak shit. It just ruins any like surprises or anticipations of like someone like saying, oh, this is gonna be Kirby, but Kirby got revealed because someone leaked that information from a Nintendo Direct that Kirby's gonna be in the game. Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. Please. Like, it would be awful, like, let's say I got like leaked on like Marvel vs. Capcom 4 because a guy from E3 who was in the Capcom booths was saying that like, oh, Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is gonna happen at E3. Why'd you ruin the surprise, homie? What the fuck? Now I can't be surprised at all. I can fake it while live, but it's not gonna be genuine. And that's like my big 3 reasons why fighting game devs don't put like PC. One of them is like clearly false, but then the 2 others make much more sense, I feel. You know? Not that there's anything wrong with like PC Master Race. Like, I'm getting into like PC gaming myself, and damn, it feels like an orgasmic fucking experience. But I'm just like stating all those like possible like factoids, or those possible reasons that why FG devs put consoles first instead of PC. 3 reasons. But overall, right? Back to DNF, right? Got a little bit off tangent. Overall, DNF is a fun game. I really like it. It's really fun. I give it like a 10. I give it like. I give it like a solid 9 out of 10. Like I gave Strive, it's like a solid 9 out of 10. It's fun. You can do a lot of like crazy character expression or player expression that you can do with like characters. You can do a lot of shit that you can do with DNF and Strive, right? If we're going to be on that topic. Yeah, it's just a lot of potential that I feel for DNF, and I want to see it succeed. I don't want to like have like DNF just like go through the ringer, be there for like 1 Evo, right? And that's it for DNF. Yeah, because like the game is super fun. The game is awesome. It's super hyper anime. It's super fun. It's very like, it's not chaotic like a Marvel game or anything like that, you know? But it is a fun like anime fighter. Not in the same league as like Guilty Gear, because Guilty Gear is already popular. But this is like a good contender for what it is and how simple it is, you know? Alright. But yeah, I'm looking forward to DNF. That's like my post impressions. My post impressions for DNF. Really, really fantastic, you know? Like a lot. Like it a lot. Now let's go to